Hello there, Corky here. Just got back a couple of nights ago from out west and with my family on vacation, and glad to say we had a lot of animal sightings, which included 15 grizzly bear sightings. I did, however, suffer from the altitude sickness, which I never had before, not even in Peru. But anyway, I want to make a video uh, and want to appreciate all of you that have been subscribing and clicking likes on my videos for guitar. It's really been an increase in the last, say, 3 weeks, and I am pushing on with my subscribers uh, toward 500. That's my goal, to get 500 subscribers, and I'm well into the 200s now. I want to thank you all. So if you would click like and subscribe, I will be working harder to do more good guitar content and some mandolin, which I will include at different points. Interesting comments on the videos. One said, "Does Santa Claus really play the guitar?" And the answer is yes, he does. I've got on my Mountain Man hat today that my wife got me in Finland, and this is entertainment, right? Right. Okay, I got on my Jimi Hendrix hoodie right here. See, Jimi Hendrix, the man. Uh, and Jimi Hendrix has really inspired me over the years. I've been a guitar player for 55 years now, and I love learning from uh, individuals, people who have a distinct style and who do things their own way. So, in the light of that, I wanted to respond to another comment which I got where people are correcting me on the numbers of the designation of the chords that I'm playing, and then maybe even the names of the techniques or the, uh, you know, the particulars of guitar theory. And I want to say that I've never had a formal lesson in my life in the 55 years, and I have been a self-taught guitar player partially, but I also learned from others. Back in the 60s, I started trying out these guitar books. So we're talking about resources here, learning resources for the guitar. And I would get the Mel Bay books particularly. Mel Bay was well known for doing guitar instructional books. So this is before the days of cassettes. And I have in my LP, my vinyl collection, I actually have one or two instructional albums there that they did on vinyl back in the day. I'm trying to remember the one that I liked the best. Can't remember now who that was, but was probably learning bluegrass. But there are a lot of learning resources out there. I didn't use that much. I would pull up chords to songs and then play those chords the way I had learned them. Then there's tablature, which I found really helpful for like working out the individual notes of a solo that someone else had composed. So I still use tab today, and I do watch some videos. I do watch some YouTube videos of different artists who are teaching technique and style and stuff. What's particularly exciting about this digital age and YouTube is that I'm able to go to Scotland or Ireland and learn to play, you know, reels and things on mandolin and guitar Otherwise, it would have been very difficult to find. Also, a lot of the YouTube guitar instructors are somewhat self-taught, and I got inspired, and I do get inspired by listening to guys who can put into words somehow what they're doing. Originally, I was inspired by Greg Martin of the Kentucky Headhunters. Back several years ago, I began to see his Licks from the Outhouse on YouTube, and where he would just sit down with a camera, phone, turn it on, start playing guitar licks, maybe talk a little bit, things like this. And he didn't use a lot of fancy cameras or lights or sound mixing. So I followed after that, and that's just the way I'm going to do it. I'm 70 years old, I'm pretty much retired, and I don't want to go into a lot of deep production. I've got 10 albums that I produced, home recordings that are on the internet, and that's a real disappointing thing, as many of you know. And then what I think is the most important is the human resource for guitar instruction, and that is learning to play from someone. So at this time, I still have one night a week devoted to guitar players coming to my home and sitting down and jamming, picking with one another. And maybe one day I'll have a guitar camp, maybe here in Alabama. But I like playing guitar with people, so I'm a very avid supporter of social music because that's the way I learned. Secondly, not just the resources for learning, but there is a particular context that you come from. And my context is different than another person. I was thinking about Jimi Hendrix, and I was watching an interview with Stephen Stills talking about how long Jimi Hendrix's thumb was, and that it totally transformed his playing. I suspect Richie Havens was similar. I don't know if it's an African American thumb. I don't know what it is, but it's a really long thumb, and mine's not that long. Now, according to Stephen Stills, who played with Hendrix and was a friend of Hendrix, he could wrap his thumb over the neck of the guitar, and the thumb would extend all the way there. And those of us who watch them on television, video, movies, we know that's true. And so that one factor would have transformed Hendrix's guitar style, and he utilized it. So everybody is not the same. So if you're going to comment on my videos and you're going to correct me at different points, I will hear you out, but it doesn't mean I'm going to change the way that I'm sharing the guitar, because I just share it the way I share it, okay? After 55 years, I'm kind of not really a grumpy, but a little bit grumpy old man, and old school, absolutely. And a lot of the things that I learned by getting a record album, put it on turntable, find a song that had a recognizable chord, like I've Just Seen a Face in the key of G on Rubber Soul. It was on the first song on one side. Because the G chord has 3 open strings, D, G, and B, I would tune to the record, because you had to do that because the turntables all had variable speeds a little bit. They all varied a little bit from turntable to turntable. And there's a really hilarious story about Keith Richards getting in trouble with Chuck Berry over this in a movie. You can check it out sometimes. I think it's called All Hell Rock and Roll. I'm not sure. But so I would tune to the record, get that G chord off I've Just Seen a Face, and then would tune all my other strings, my E and my A, my high E, internally. In other words, I'd match it to the other strings I'd already tuned to the record. And we call that internal tuning. And that's something that is a real important skill to learn, because you're going to have all kinds of guitars you're going to play. They're going to have all kinds of imperfections in them. And you're going to have to learn how to split the difference. In other words, two notes that need to ring together, you may have to move one of them flat or sharp to put it in context with the rest of the strings. Now, this is not a Berklee lesson that I'm giving here. This is just on the ground, flat out guitar playing. There will be times when you will have to tune to other people because they're not going to use a tuner if you play with some old people. Now, if you play with all young guys, they're going to bring that tuner out before they even bring the guitar out. I'm talking about the electronic one. And I do use electronic tuners because all my 5K's gone to my hearing. I wear hearing aids. And it's not a fun thing. And because I've lost so much hearing with those loud amplifiers, and the cymbals particularly that did it, I have to use an electronic tuner often in my playing. I'm not against it, but I do often also, when I get in a room full of people come in, I don't say, "Oh, is everybody tuned to the tuner?" And it's just not good etiquette. Just sit down and get with them. So I'd say, hit me a G chord, and then I would tune my 3 and then tune the others. Also, I use a lot of these harmonics for tuning. I'm on the 5th fret, and of course you hit the harmonic on the fret furthest up the neck, and I match those two. I'm matching the 5th fret on the low E and the 7th fret on the A string. Then go to the A on the 5th, then hit the 7th, and so forth. And of course it changes up when you get to the G string and B string, because that's the one spot where the guitar changes in the fretboard. So your context is real important, and to learn how to play your instrument, and learn how to tune your instrument. And you'll go through a lot of guitars before you find one that you really love and works good for you. I want to talk about your personal passion. Years ago, when I was in my postgraduate education, and my education through my doctorate is all intercultural studies and theology and biblical studies, history, a lot, and literature. So, but a long time ago in my postgrad studies, when you get there, you're looking for a topic that nobody else is writing about. Mine ended up being Native American studies. And a wise professor told me, he said, you need to study what you love. He said, you will be tempted to study in order to be able to achieve, say, a career or a skill, but we should be educating ourselves for enrichment. Now, a lot of the education that's online now, and in many of the on-campus programs, they are majoring more and more on technical training and skills. And so consequently, most people are getting an education and taking courses in order to be able to achieve a certain goal in the doing of things. But this professor told me, he said, don't do that. Educate yourself to enrich yourself. Read about what you love. Play what you love. If it's music, play it. Play the music that you love. And so, even though I have had to play country music, gospel music, rock and roll over the years, and for different reasons, the blues was always my favorite. And so I have continued to follow after blues music. I even give historical tours down here in Alabama and Mississippi, relevant to the old black blues men of the 30s and so forth. And so that is my passion. So I'm not going to be learning a lot of modern jazz guitar playing. I'm not going to be learning necessarily heavy metal or other styles or classical, because that's not my passion. My passion is blues, and so that's going to affect my videos. I'm going to be teaching a lot of blues music. Your career. So I want to say this. I think there's a great misunderstanding that people should learn to play the guitar in order to have a career in music. That's going to become less and less possible as the digital age goes forward, because now, in one sense, it will, because back in the day, you were looking for someone to hear your demo and some company to take you on, and that pretty much doesn't happen anymore. Pretty much now, most everybody's into a personal recording, an independent recording situation. And what happens is your music goes into the internet, and because of things like Spotify and things like that, you're not going to get your royalties. Like I get a lot of plays on the internet for my 10 albums, my 100 songs that I produced, but I just get pennies for the way people stream them. So what I want you to think about then, rather than being, selling music, looking for personal and social ways to offer your playing of the guitar. Just last week when I was in the West, I passed many places in South Dakota, Kansas, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Nebraska, where I played in the last 15 years. And some of them were hospitals, where I played at dialysis clinics. Some of them were restaurants, pizza restaurants I played at. Some of them were churches that I played music at. Some of them were disability clinics where I did music programs. Some of them were nursing homes where I play. I played one nursing home in Tennessee, over 400 programs I did over an 8-year period, 50 weeks a year for 8 years. Same nursing home. And during that time, I employed a harmonica player who was a nursing home resident, played with me, and I played old-time music, played American guitar. So there's all kinds of opportunities for you to play the guitar out there, other than, say, getting a slot at a festival, getting a concert gig, or getting a demo approved by a company and then be promoted on. You can just forget about all that if you want to, as I did, and just play. Just play guitar. And if you can play a whole song, and I'm going to be doing videos on this, like I'm going to be showing some fingerstyle and ways that you can play songs by yourself, solo, maybe not even singing at all. And so the guitar can be useful. I'm 70 years old, so I'm playing more than I ever played in my life, and I want you to pick up your guitar playing too. So click like and subscribe. Corky Alexander here. We're going to be, the next few videos, I'm probably going to be doing one on Neil Young chord substitutions. I'm probably going to be doing one on what I just did there, which is a Donovan style of guitar picking, which he taught to Paul McCartney in order for Paul McCartney to do Blackbird, and you sure have heard that song. So I'm going to talk about the thirds and acoustic and electric. Okay, have a blessed day.